Welcome everybody to Somewhere in Vegas here on Spreaker.com. I'm Mark the Q. I'm your host. Very eventful weekend over at SEMA. We were out and about. We caught up with a couple celebrities, caught up with quite a few of the cars that were out there as well. You guys can check out our Instagram at SWIV Podcast. That's at SWIV Podcast. You guys can see some of the photos we took while we were there. And with the celebrities, I mean, it was great to be able to catch up with quite a few of them. A little bit later on, we'll have a couple Q&A sessions courtesy of Motortrend. We got the girls from All Girls Garage, and we also got Ann Amstead, who has several shows on Motortrend, including Wheeler Dealers. We'll be talking a little bit about that and another reality show he's involved with. But first, we talked to a guest that we've talked to earlier this year. He is a very awesome builder. We talk a lot about his relationships with a lot of the different dealers that are there at SEMA, a lot of locals, people that he's worked with as well. And it's great to be able to have them. We have Dave Ankins on, and he is got a huge new show coming up in December that we talk about as well. So without further ado, here's our interview with Dave Ankins from Toymakerz.
I mean, it's amazing, Dave. We're here at SEMA at S&P Tools as well. I mean, this is a situation where not only the fact that you get to see what's new out here, what builders are doing out here, what kind of new ideas, although it's also about networking as well. I mean, tell me a little bit about that networking with a lot of the vendors out here and a lot of maybe potential clients, maybe potential people that you want to work with.
For me, network is important. This is a small industry. Even though this is a big event, it's really a small industry. So it gives me a chance to meet the people that I don't normally get to see except once a year. Most of my vendors come from California. They're on the other side of the planet. So we can all meet at one venue, deal with the people that I already deal with, and then really see what's out there and see where I might want to go in the future.
Yeah, well, speaking of which, I mean, I was catching up with some of the episodes this past week, and to see how many local vendors that you work with, local companies as well. I mean, it almost seems like it takes a village to make one of your creations. I mean, tell me about working with some of the local talent that you have available, and just how that kind of pumps up the community.
Well, for me, when you're in a small town like we're in, and we're in Rockingham County, Reedsville, North Carolina. You want, for my opinion, you don't have a shop and not want to support the town you're in or the state you're in. So I try. There's a lot of talent all the way across the country. That's no joke. It's no joke in North Carolina either. We got NASCAR. There's so much going on there in North Carolina. If I can use the local talent and it helps their business, helps my business, we all grow together.
I mean, and that shows with some of the cars that you bring out, because they don't just stay in North Carolina. They go other places, California, for example. And those companies are getting a little bit exposure through your creation. I mean, what do you think about that?
I think that's what the industry needs. I think for people out there that don't understand, we have to grow the industry for it to survive. I have a 13-year-old son. I want him to do this when he gets older. And if we don't grow the industry doesn't grow. I mean, it's our job to grow the industry.
Speaking of which, I mean, your son, it seems to be very talented, has a really creative mind. Really looks like that he wants to be kind of in the kind of fabrication, engineering kind of field. I mean, how's that for you as a father to take a look and see that he does have that kind of passion?
For me, my grandfather worked at Studebaker and Packard. My dad was arguably the best fabricator I know. I could only hope to have half his talent. And to see my son naturally come in it, I don't push him, don't ask him to do anything. He wants to be at the shop. I've never had a babysitter for him during the, off season. If he's out of school, he's at the shop. So he loves that naturally, and it's fun to watch.
I mean, the technical aspect of what's going on in the industry right now, it's pretty interesting, because they can pretty much do anything right now. You can fabricate any kind of part that you can imagine as well. I mean, how is it for you as a builder starting out to what has come now, where you have more access to parts that you could never have imagined when you were first starting out?
Again, like I said, I'm an old man, so in the beginning you were really limited, and as anybody's skill set grows, you can do more and more things. Our attitude at our shop is if somebody else can do it, we can do it. So, and then we call our toolbox. Yes, we use SP Tools. I love SP Tools. But what I call my real toolbox isn't the tools in the toolbox, it's the people in your toolbox and the skill sets they have. The industry's constantly changing. You need to change with it. And there's experts in their field. You want to live with them experts.
Yeah, I mean, it's just amazing to see the creations that come out of your workshop as well, and the creative genius kind of behind it. You're always thinking as well. I mean, how many projects are going on in your shop at one time?
There's always 8 or 10 going on in my shop. There's 15 or 20 always going on in my head. So you figure that the car I brought here to SEMA took me 2 years to build. I'm already working on season 5 finale car for next year, and we're just starting the season finale car for season 6. If I'm not that far ahead, the cars don't get built.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of almost a misnomer, the fact that it does take quite a long time to fabricate the car, to be able to get it painted and all that as well. I mean, it's one of those things where you had to always have something into process. I mean, do you ever take a day off or anything like that, or is it just always constantly, working on a project?
Any true business owner doesn't take a day off. There's no such thing. Even if I'm not working, I'm working. So, for me, and there's a difference between an OEM car that you modify and then a true one-off car that you fabricate, or if you fabricate something on an OEM car. So for me, mine's always working, always thinking about business, always thinking about fans, always thinking about brands, thinking about family, thinking about employees. It's a never-ending battle. That's not my job. That's everybody that owns a business in life, in my opinion.
What can we look forward to? You said that you're working on a couple cars for your next couple seasons as well. I mean, what can we look forward to in the next couple years?
Look, I want to do some electric stuff. I want to do some flying stuff. We're going to do some water stuff. There's a lot of cool stuff coming down the pipeline. In SEMA, you see that kind of stuff here. You see where the trends are going. I want to be ahead of the curve.
You kind of teased on the first season that you might want to race again, even if it's just for a little bit. I mean, is that still in the back of your mind?
Let me tell you something. Right now, there's a digital series coming out just before Christmas. It's me living in 6 different worlds of racing. So, yes, we're going to do a little bit of dabble in this year.
Oh, that's going to be exciting. Anything else we can look forward to?
Listen, like I said, the digital series is really big on our plate right now. It's called The Fast Society. You're going to live in all the digital platforms. It's a completely different way to look at the digital deal. Instead of just doing a made-for-TV reality show, this is really taking real cars and real racetracks and really racing in their fields. So that's got all my attention. I'm excited to get to it.
Yeah, do we know when that's going to be out?
Should be right about Christmas time.
Well, that's going to be great. Anything else you want to add?
Nope, just everybody check us out on, of course, all the YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, History Channel, FYI, and, of course, the Drive blog. So.
Yep, obviously, Toymakers, guys got to watch the show. Great to be able to talk to you.
Thank you, guys.
After the break, we'll have the Q&A session with Aunt Amstead. Motortrend did several Q&A sessions over the past couple of days over at SEMA. We were able to get 2 of them on tape. The first one we're going to be playing for you is Amstead. Chris Jacobs was the moderator for this. We did end up getting a question in for Ant as well, because not only is he the host of Wheelers Dealers on Motortrend, but he's also the co-star with his wife Christina on the Coast on HGTV. I was able to ask a question about that, so we'll be able to hear me answer a question, but Chris Jacobs is the one moderating it. So here's the Q&A session with Aunt Amstead.
People come up to me and they say that I'm busy, and I say, probably not as busy as Aunt Amstead. You got Wheeler Dealers.
Yep.
Aunt Amstead, Master Mechanic.
Yep.
New dad again. Congratulations. Cutest baby in the world, by the way.
Yeah, he is a cutie. I'm not actually sure if it's mine.
Where did that? I think it skips a generation.
Well, no, my wife's cute, so hopefully the genes carried on from her.
Your wife contributed to that a lot.
Yeah, she did.
Congratulations in all sincerity, man. First, let's talk Wheeler Dealers.
Yes.
The viewer is midway through the current season right now, and any Wheeler Dealer fans in the audience right here? What a cool show, man. You and Mike have so much fun.
Yeah, it's funny because we talked about it earlier. Wheeler Dealers, unbelievably, has been on TV for 17 years now. And when you think about it, I was chatting to a chap over there who was 17 years old. So Mike was treading the boards when he wasn't even a a child. And I think the reason why that show's so successful and it's lasted so long is because we really do keep it simple. Mike buys a car, we fix it, and we sell it and hopefully bank some profit. And at the same time, we teach a bit and tell you a bit, and it's just incredibly real. So the fact that I've been on it now this is my 3rd year. I can't believe time's flying.
Well, it's so popular too because anything said in an English accent is immediately interesting and charming. So,
well, chaps, let me tell you a little bit about Chris Jacobs, because what he's not telling you is that Chris does an exceptional British accent.
I only do it once in a while, though.
It sounds like Austin Powers.
I do. Well, I've got my very, upper crusty English accent, and I've got my English accent that's a little bit more like my Brewer's.
Yeah, he does a good My Brewer.
Both of those are terrible, by the way. I'm not claiming that those are good English accents.
For a moment, I thought, is Mike here?
What, is that Mike Brewer up on stage with us? No, it's just me and Ant hanging out. So Wheeler Dealers still cruising along.
Yeah.
Very successful show. So successful, in fact, that they've decided to spin you off onto a show that is only going to be available on the Motortrend app. And, I mean, obviously, Ant came up with the title of this show himself. Ant Amstead, Master Mechanic.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah, one person.
Yeah, we got one clapper down here. Everybody else is rolling their eyes, going, "Really?
This
Master
is good.
Mechanic? Okay, buddy."
Yeah, it's fantastic actually. And what really happened, I mean, the truth behind the show is that Wheeler Dealers is incredibly difficult, as you know, to make TV and do cars. We did 27 episodes in just under a year. That's more than a car every 2 weeks. It's a phenomenal amount of work. So traditionally, you get to the end of production and you're exhausted and you take a bit of time off. So I had this 12-week window to go on holiday, and at the same time I had 12 weeks till my son was born. But I was building a car anyway. I don't take time. My time off is in the garage. So I'd already made preparations to build myself a single-seater race car. And when Discovery kind of knocked on the door and said, "Look, have you spoken to the guys at Motortrend? Motortrend would love to fill your holiday. Why don't we record that?" And here we are. So I had a 12-week window to build myself a car before my son was born. And unfortunately, halfway through, I detached my bicep. These scars are actually, from the surgery. So for 3 or 4 episodes, I'm building the car in one arm. Because it's incredibly real. And what I love about Master Mechanic, it's a really different way to make car TV. A lot of it's shot on the phone. A lot of it, I talk to the cameraman. You see the sound man. You know that there's a cameraman. There's a sound man there.
Sure.
Let's embrace it.
You're breaking that fourth wall, they say. And what's really good is you draw the viewer in. They're right along there with you. And I know that the entire series is you building one car.
Yeah.
That's a very special car to you.
Yeah, it's really important because being European and being British, Formula One for Europeans is a religion. For you guys, it's probably NASCAR, right?
Well, yeah, but we did just have the Formula One race in Austin at COTA, so...
Yeah, we did, and I was really
There is a fan base here. We got Formula One fans out here?
I'm really encouraged by it, because I was at COTA last weekend, and there was, like 350,000 people have come to this monumental event, and to see Lewis lift his 6th title is amazing.
Yeah.
And if you consider Formula One the pinnacle of our industry, I'm sorry, it is... the pinnacle of our industry is this huge multi-billion-dollar circus. But actually, what a lot of people don't realise is that it started 70 years ago on May 13th, 1950, at Silverstone Racetrack in the UK. And the first ever car to win a Formula One race was the Alfa Romeo 158. The 158 actually came first, second and third in that race and would have come fourth if Fangio hadn't have had an oil leak. And then the 158 went on to win every single race it ever entered.
Wow.
And get this, because of World War II, it was actually designed in the mid-1930s at a time when the head of Alfa Romeo Racing was a guy called Enzo Ferrari. And he left and set up a car company and kind of did okay.
Did he do all right?
He did all right, did old Enzo.
Okay.
But that's a 1930s car winning Formula One races in 1950, 51 and 52. I mean, can you imagine a 25-year-old car winning a Formula One race today?
It would never happen. I mean, a 2-year-old car couldn't win a Formula
I think a 2-month-old car would never win. And, for me, it was about telling the story, particularly to the car fans of America, telling the story of Formula One. And so I build myself my interpretation, a homage to that Alfa 158. And if any of you follow me on social media, if you like a spoiler, if you go on my Instagram page, I took my car to Austin, to the Formula One, and I put it on the Alfa Romeo stand, and we celebrated it through the weekend. So I know only show 7, I think, is available today, out of 12 shows. So it is a bit of a